So what's the process regarding the hearing? What is the ordinance? Information. That part. Okay. All right.
When they open it for public.
Hey, what's happening?
How are you?
You'd ask them to open the back door.
Yeah.
They keep it. What's that? Check the heat, see what the heat's on.
Who's the cold person in here?
Huh?
So who's the cold person in here?
It's set to like 69, but it's 74.
Did these change to PIN numbers? Because it's asking for a PIN versus a password.
Signing option.
Okay.
Are you all ready?
Ready when you are, boss.
You got your stuff open? Good evening. Today is Tuesday, February 10th. Calling this meeting to order at 6 o'clock. Councilors, staff, thank you all for being here. Members of the public, it's good to see you all here again. This is 2 meetings in a row that we have public attendance. We're not used to it, so thank you again, and please keep on coming. Madam Clerk, please call roll.
Councilman Darrell Ortega.
Present.
Councilman Jason Gonzalez.
Here.
Councilwoman Luis Gallo.
Here.
Councilman Brett Honey.
Here.
Here before Mayor.
Next item is Pledge of Allegiance. Councilman Gonzalez.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This is the flag, state of Mexico, and this is a symbol of friendship amongst United cultures.
Can we take a moment of silence real quick? We've had a lot of, we got a moment of silence last meeting, but we've had a lot of deaths since the last meeting, one of them being our attorney's grandmother, Lucy Rael. So I'd like to take a moment of silence, not only for her, but all our community members that we've lost. All right, thank you. Next item is approval of the agenda. Councilors, you have the agenda before you.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda as where it sits, with adding executive session for action items,
What category?
all the action items, A through D.
I don't think any of those meet our obligation or requirement for having an executive session. They have to be discussed in public.
It can be discussed, we can still come back out and discuss them, but there's some issues with current contracts that we have standing right now with the contractors we're trying to move forward with.
But that's not something that we can discuss privately. It has to be open discussion.
If you may say that, then I know it, but I should go that.
So I would ask you to,
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as it's.
do I have a motion by Councilman Ortega, second by Councilwoman Gallegos. Madam Clerk, please call roll.
Councilmember Ortega,
Yes.
Councilman Jason Gonzalez.
Yes.
Councilwoman Louise Gagos,
Yes.
Councilman Brandon Honey.
Yes.
Next item is approval of the minutes, regular council meeting, January 27th, 2026.
Mayor, I found no corrections, so I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Good roll.
I have a motion by Councilwoman Gallegos, a second by Councilman Gonzalez. Madam Clerk, please call roll.
Councilmember Romeo,
Yes.
Councilwoman Louise Gagos,
Yes.
Councilman Jason Gonzalez.
Yes.
Councilman Darrell.
Yes.
Next item is public comments. It's the policy of the governing body to accept public comment. Because your issue is not on the agenda, the governing body cannot respond immediately, but may direct staff to address your issues at a future council meeting. Public comments are limited to 3 minutes. I do ask, we have a public hearing on zoning following our public comment section. I ask if you're going to speak at the public hearing on zoning, not speak during the public comments. We will address that during the public hearing. Do I have anyone here for public comments? Go ahead and come to the podium and state your name. And where do you reside within the village of Questa?
Yep, my name is Cesar Segura, resident of Questa. Public comments on the hydrogen plant. Just to speak in support of it. I know being from Questa, when the mine shut down, seeing the hard impact that caused, a lot of families had to uproot, had to leave, had to plant roots in other cities, states. So being in approve of that and wanting to say I'm behind it, stand behind that process and the plan, everything, the revenue it's going to generate for Questa, the influx it's going to bring, people coming in, supporting our local businesses, in support of that. I know in 2013, same thing with, just like myself and a lot of my classmates weren't sure what we're going to do. They didn't know mine shut down. So we're looking for jobs, careers. The fiber to the home came about with Kit Carson. I was able to get on with a contractor there, continue. That was in 2013. I've made a illustrious career of that. I'm now the plant supervisor with Kit Carson Internet. And so with that being said, I know there's a lot of discussion about that, a lot of pushback, whatnot. People have their opinions on it. And so I just wanted to say I'm in support of that. And I believe maybe it brings careers like the fiber loan project did for myself and others. When the mine shut down, Kit Carson took on employment from people that had lost their jobs at the mine. So yeah, I just wanted to say that I think it's gonna be very beneficial. I'm continuing to do my research. One thing that I want to ask, I want to keep knowing about the safety about it. Being at Kit Carson, I know we have a strong safety culture, something we strive to promote every day. And I have a coworker that worked at a hydrogen plant in California for 13 years. And he spoke of the inherent dangers, but that comes with everything, my career as well, police officers, EMS. And so I want to get more information, knowing on the safety aspect of that, how we're going to keep employees safe in regard to that. So But yeah, again, thank you for your time. Thank you for your time, Councilman, Mayor, Councilwoman. That's all I'll say.
Thank you, Mr. Segura. Do I have anyone else for public comment? Ms. Shannon, did anyone call in? Or Ms. Vihil, I should ask. Has anyone called in for public comment this week? I will close public comment at 6:07. I'm gonna go ahead and open up the public hearing. Discussion, consideration, decision, amendment of planning and zoning ordinance 1974-43. Ms. Vihil, Mr. LaForte, do you want to speak on that? And the process with the attorneys and how that worked?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So I do believe that our Administrator Karen Shannon shared with you our amended planning and zoning ordinance along with a proposed new zoning map. And so I just kind of wanted to give a few details on the changes that were made for the current ordinance. So our intention for this was to amend the current ordinance. It was not to replace the ordinance. So some of the amendments that we made were to, number one, there was 3 changes that were made. We basically looked at our map. For the last 3 years, Jake and I have seen an influx in a lot of variances here. People who are trying to build their homes in ARO, so they have to come in here for a variance to build a home on an ARO section. So this ordinance hasn't been changed or amended since 1974, besides the amendment of changing a zoning word. They changed it to a board word instead. But aside from that, this ordinance hasn't been changed since 1974. Getting on with the village 3-4 years ago now, we really saw an increase. I mean, you guys have seen it in the last 3 years or so. There's been a lot of variances coming in here. And we just really feel that there needed to be an update to the map. And so in your packet, or in the email that Ms. Shannon provided you, there is the proposed map. It looks like this. And so basically, we didn't change any of the current, on the existing zoning map, we didn't change any of the sizes of the current areas. So all we basically did to kind of help support the village of Questa was back, and I'm not sure what year, but I can definitely get you the information, but there is some property that was annexed, and that is all of the orange area that was annexed into the village, but it was never put onto the zoning map. I'm not sure why that happened. In the 1974 ordinance, it does state that if you annex something, the map should be reflected very shortly after that. So I'm not quite sure where the login was to make sure that the annexed property got put onto the zoning map.
Just real quick, that property was annexed for the record on February 9th, 2010, which was 16 years ago.
Yeah, and so I'm not really sure where the login was to get it on the zoning map, but it does clearly state on the zoning ordinance that if anything gets annexed, it should be properly reflected on the zoning map. And so that was just added on there, along with the RC-1. Is that the next change or?
This is that.
So we added RC-1, that's the purple area on the top and a little bit on the bottom. And then looking at the old zoning map, so for example, all of North Kiowa was basically deemed as ARO. And there's a lot of residential areas there that have come in for variances throughout the years. And so we felt it would be beneficial to go ahead and make that an R-1, which is residential. RA-1, which is residential and agriculture. So we didn't take away from that agricultural aspect of what it originally was. Yes, and then I'm sorry, on the B2, on the original one, it ends like where? Like right where the cannabis shop is?
Yeah.
So on the old map, I'm just gonna show it up here. It goes B2 up and then B2 down. So B2 on the bottom, it only went up to about the cannabis shop around there. And so we were able to extend it to the beginning of the village limits, to where the sewer plant starts. And then B2 was okay going up. B1 didn't change. The R1 on the bottom didn't change. RA-1. The only thing that changed was the name, but the actual component of it did not change. So that would be the green part. Another thing that was added on here was that, well, we changed the name of ARO to RA-1. That was one of the changes on the ordinance. Another thing that was added was that back in 1974, I believe that there was not an administrator at the time. There was only the village clerk. And so in the ordinance, it stated that the village clerk basically did everything. And as fond as I am of that title, I am very busy and cannot do my job and handle planning and zoning. And so we have made it to put Village of Questa or designee. There has been a planning and zoning employee here. I'm not sure for how long. There was one prior to Jake, but Jake did get his certification, and correct me if I'm wrong, has anybody else had their certification? So nobody else has received their planning and zoning certification, and I just think that that deserves its own reward in itself. And so that was another thing that got changed or amended on the ordinance, was that instead of village clerk, it says village clerk or designee. So basically the two biggest things was village clerk or designee, and then the zoning boundaries. So we added the new zoning boundaries in the ordinance, and then we changed the name from ARO to RA-1 on here. And then of course we added the new one of the new annex property. Oh yeah, and then so the setbacks were kind of wonky a little bit back then. Some of them were specific feet, and then other ones were a different feet. And so with current planning and zoning guidelines, it really is kind of the same across the board. There's some differences, but for the most part, they're all the same. And then on the ordinance, the original ordinance, some parts said yards, some parts said setbacks. I just think that was more of a typo thing, like a verbiage thing, and so we just ended up putting setbacks on throughout the whole entire ordinance. So there was some amendments to it, but this is off of the original ordinance. It's not, it's not a brand new ordinance that we're bringing to you guys. We completely understand that planning and zoning is something that needs to be worked on, and it's a continuous working thing. But I definitely think that, we need to kind of start rolling with this and not wait, 20, 30 years to kind of start talking about it, because 1974 is quite a long ways away.
Mr. LaForda, do you have anything to add?
Only that, I think one of the things also is, you might have, included in the HI-1 zoning district, everything that is in the current ordinance that's under the LI-1, which is light industry, all those permitted uses are also allowed in the HI-1. And so I think under permitted uses, the only thing we added was solar arrays and power plant production facilities. That's it.
I would like to say, Jake and I did not just sit here and add these changes. I did meet with our attorney, and he did go over them. He's not able to make it tonight due to the funeral. So, but this was edited, and I do believe, I don't know when the original was, who the original one was drafted by, but I made the edits and I sent them off for his approval and his, to make sure that the verbiage is correctly. We try and stay on top of the ordinance here and just make sure that we know what we're doing, but we definitely want to make sure that we get our legal involved as well.
Also, Mayor, I think that it's pretty obvious that our zoning ordinance was outdated because of the number of special exceptions. I think I brought before you also some conditional use requests and mostly variances. So I think with the changes to the map, and we were fortunate to work with Tyler Fawcett from DFA with he's a GIS analyst with NM 911. And so he's really knowledgeable about zoning maps. He's helped multiple municipalities update their zoning maps. So I was happy to connect with him, and he actually helped us draft these changes or this amended zoning map. So I want to give him credit for that. I think it's a very doable updated zoning map. I think it covers all of our bases for now. As you know, zoning is a work in progress. It's like one of those, it's a living document. It's always going to change based on the needs of the community and the constituents. So I think we should look at it as that. This isn't the end all be all. This is just the beginning for amending something. And then of course, down the line, there's going to be other amendments, other enhancements, all those sorts of things. So we stand for questions.
I have a question.
Councilor Ortega.
So right now, R1 to the right-hand side, as you're going towards the north, it could be east. All that R1, is the Questa Health Center considered an R1 in there? Because that's where that would lie.
It's considered a B2. It's right off the highway. So anything off the highway, like or like the center of town, like if it's right off the main highway, it would be considered in the B2.
So how far are we considering off the highway? Far back, to?
That's just it. The current zoning ordinance doesn't address that.
All it
We have
addresses is
to-
if it's off the highway.
What we need to do and to get this more solidified is go from the center line of the highway and measure how many feet we want to dictate B2 to be.
So, yeah, if I can continue, so like, there's properties there that are zoned, business properties, so we're gonna change the zoning on that, and that we're gonna deal with the county on that, or how's that gonna work? Because, the county has property tax for, business. How do we change that?
So, Councilor Ortega, and part of that is going to be, like the Questa Health Center is already grandfathered in. We can't change that on them.
We can't change any of the properties unless we go fully through with the attorney and he makes all these calls and make sure we're legal with it, because, there are commercial properties up and down Questa that they need to keep commercial so they can build business and for the future, because if we change everything to residential, then we're shooting ourselves in the foot.
I will
But on
say,
that one, we're not changing it. That's staying the same.
yeah,
So, but I'm saying any property that's vacant, that's a business property, where they pay business, the property tax, how can we change that on them?
So we're not changing anything that is existing. This only would apply toward new construction, new homes, new structures being built, all that sort of thing.
So say a resident purchases a piece of property 5 years ago or 2 years ago and wants to put a business but hasn't put it yet, but now we're gonna change the zoning on them to say you can't put a business there even though you bought a piece of property that was.
We're not changing the zoning on them.
Wouldn't that be a residential commercial zone?
Depending on where this property is or located. If somebody bought
Right.
property in a B2 area and wanted to build a home in there, then they'd have to go through the variance process to do it.
Okay.
Nothing is said, unless it says in your ordinance that it's strictly prohibited. If in the ordinance, and I'm pretty sure the ordinance addresses this for every zoning district, it says special exceptions are allowed for almost any variance based on the governing body's decision.
And this R1 section was not, like, this is part of the old map, so it didn't even get changed. The R1 on the top here, that part didn't change. It's still the same as the old map.
It'd be nice to have roads, let's say, it's like whatever road it is, like Sagebrush or
Yeah,
Cottonwood or whatever, so you can see it. Because now I just picked the clinic because I know they're in the
Right.
R1 color, but I don't see any roads that go down it.
yeah.
So,
At some point, we could layer, through GIS, we could layer roads and stuff like that.
I think it's a great idea, but I think without the attorney present, Mayor, I don't think we should move forward till we get all the questions answered.
The attorney's online.
Okay.
Mayor, is there still a zoning board that's going to be established to help with some of this?
Yes, there's a zoning board currently. We have 3 appointees to it. Need to appoint 2 more people to it.
Is there, Mayor, is there any council people sitting on this?
No.
Board? Would it be a good idea to have some on there so we can?
No, because let's say the planning board and zoning board does approve or disapprove something, it would then come to the council, so that council would then have 2 votes at it.
Mayor, another question. Did the village approach the Cisneros down there where Jordan used to live and ask if they wanted to be incorporated? Because we had that dog issue a couple years back.
We have not approached them, and if you'll see on your map, it's still
Yeah, exactly.
the one square in town. So-
Well, possibly, but I mean, we have to deal with that dog issue where our police force couldn't respond over there. And they had to wait for a county to show up.
That's something that we can address in a future map, Councilor. We will be addressing that in the future. I see our attorney, Maylene Ramos, is on. Can you hear us, Maylene?
I am on. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm here covering for Marcus Rowell. I'm an associate and I also do work on matters for the village.
Thank you. Do we have any other discussion? I'd like to open the public hearing up to the members of the,
Not clear. So are we saying, sticking with the same example, the Questa Health Center clinic, is that are we automatically saying that is a B2?
Yes.
And same thing with the Questa supermarket, that's automatically a B2? Or-
I know can't open it on your computer, Councilor Ortega. If you zoom in, you get a pretty good picture of where,
Yeah.
although the grape area is kind of darkened out, but
Another, only other concern I have too is up by Cabresto, so I want us to be careful on how if we adopt the ordinance tonight, if we don't, I just want us to be clear on the language. Because it looks like it's too extended going up into the canyon, and I think it ends at the pavement versus the way how it goes east and maybe a little too north.
and I guess just to answer that, that was just based off of what the original planning and zoning map was.
Yeah, we didn't adjust any of those boundaries on, RA1 or R1. We did, those boundaries were for the revision. So I still have the concern about if a property is zoned for business or commercial, and we're changing to residential, maybe the attorney can speak to this. How do we change with the county to say that this property is no longer a commercial property or business property, it's now a residential property? Even if it's vacant land, that's what I'm talking about, more than a business.
Well, the county would still consider it a commercial property. So
So they would still bill a property tax for commercial, but we would be changing it to residential.
no, I don't think,
We wouldn't
I
be
know that's
changing,
what
it's
this is
still
saying.
grandfathered in.
I don't,
But I'm saying a business that's not built is what I'm saying, like a vacant piece of land. Are we gonna turn that into a residential because there's not a business on it? And then the county's gonna bill them a commercial business tax.
They would just pay, the only way the county's gonna bill them as a commercial business is if they see a business there.
So can you, respond to that, attorney? Question?
I can repeat your question.
So let's say, someone has vacant property that is commercial or business. And then now we come in and we change the ordinance and the zoning map and turn it into a residential.
So he's asking on the new zoning map that if anybody is currently in a commercial property and we change it to residential,
So how do we?
how do we allow them to continue being a commercial property in residential areas?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you now. Can you hear us?
I'm so sorry. I just have a follow-up question, just so, to make sure I heard correctly, I'm just having a hard time hearing this. It is a commercial business and a residential zone.
So it's a vacant property that's commercial, that's zoned right now for business or commercial. And then we turn around and we change the zoning map to a residential.
And your question is if this can be done?
It can be done or cannot be done?
Is that, my apologies, I'm having such a hard time hearing. But I do hear Valerie very clearly.
Yeah, so he's asking, can it be done? Or how would it affect the business owner getting it changed from commercial to residential?
Or the property
Or
owner?
the property?
How would the property owner buy property thinking they can put commercial or business on it? Then we turn around and change it to a residential.
And the business will continue operating as a business.
So it's not a business yet, it's vacant land. It's not a business yet.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Ms. Johnson, can I just clarify something with the search area? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm confused with your question, so I can just clarify here. So this is the old, okay,
So what am I looking at here with this map?
That's
this
the,
is the new.
Yeah, okay, so that shows the areas
On
of
the
what,
old one, it's still residential. On the new one, it's still residential, so we're not changing it. And then on down here, it used to be ARO. Now we changed it to B2, so now we have more opportunity to open a business down here. This one isn't being changed. Are you asking that you would like it to be changed?
no, I'm just wondering, because there, I did look, GIS for the county, and I see all the commercial properties,
Yeah.
and here we're changing them to R1s.
we aren't changing them.
But they're the same. as-
We can't change them?
We aren't changing them.
They're the same. as-
What's this? R1, all this down.
That's the existing, that's already existing. We're not changing anything there.
Let me show you this one.
We're not changing anything on that part.
Okay, so this is our mark that we have now. And this is the new mark that we're trying to. So see, this is the sales business. So the house line is here. Okay, so this is the house line is here.
Okay.
So see, it's not really changed.
So then we're okay.
We're okay with it right now.
So there's a mark, so that's why.
So the question is, if somebody has property off the road, they can choose to be commercial or residential. Either way,
Either way.
yeah, there's no issue with the county at all.
Once they determine that it's a commercial property, then the county will come in.
If they put it on business.
If they put it on business. If it's dry land, it's just gonna be filled as
Residential.
residential, yeah. And not even residential, it will just be built as vacant land. It's when you put a residential structure on there, then that actually changes your tax. Any other comments, councilors? I'm gonna open this up to, the public for public comment. I am gonna limit public comment tonight to 3 minutes per person as well during the public hearing. So do I have anyone here for the public hearing? I'm opening it up at 6:33. If you come to the podium and state your name and
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. My name is Bobby Ortega. I'm a resident of the village of Questa. I just wanted to provide comment on your proposed ordinance and map. First, I just want to say I commend the governing body and the mayor for taking this on. I think it's a good thing for the community. I think, as maybe Jake indicated, it's can be looked as a starting point. There's a lot of things I think that need to evolve as you go through with this. But the comments I wanted to make as I looked at the ordinance and at the map, maybe a question is everything that now exists within the community that's active and ongoing, it will be grandfathered in, is that correct? Is that what you're saying?
yes.
That's correct? Okay. So I just wanted to get that for the record because, and maybe that goes to Councilman Ortega's question. If there's somebody that has an ongoing business that is somehow not addressed here, it is something that's grandfathered in under the ordinances, is the way I understand it. And the reason I asked that is I read the ordinance itself, I did not see a mention of RV parks. It mentions mobile home parks, but does not mention RV parks. So I think as you work through things, you should incorporate that because as you all know, there are 3 RV parks in the community. So that's something that if you adopt this, maybe later on you incorporate that language so that it correctly addresses the type of business that's being conducted. Again, I'm not concerned because I'm a grandfathered in as a business that already exists, but something you might want to do. Second, another business that I have is I own and operate a gravel pit. I did not see anything in the ordinance where it mentions gravel pits. I've been in operation here since the early 80s. So again, this would be a grandfathered operation, and it didn't mention that at all in the ordinance. So I just want to make sure that that is incorporated somehow. I think now you have me, if I'm looking at the ordinance correct, you have that property is an R1. And so, so again, I just want to put that for the record. It is an ongoing business and will continue to be, but I didn't see that. So those are just the things I saw that affect me as a business owner and landowner. I think some of my agricultural land was on the map, it shows as R1, which is fine with me. It will, under this ordinance, I understand, will allow me to continue doing agriculture on the land, continue to farm or ranch, but it has it as R1, so that works for me. I think it's good. I think it's good that you're addressing this. I, for years, have had issues with the county zoning process and the county zoning permitting process. I really think that the village of Questa is its own entity and should control its own destiny. And so by doing this, I think you're now taking the bull by the horns. I think you're losing revenue by having the county come in and doing your permitting for houses as an example. And so I think those are opportunities for you in the future to look at. But I think this is a good start. So those are my comments. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
You're at your 3 minutes. Do we have anyone else here for the public hearing? Want to speak up? Thank you, Mr. Ortega. Anyone else for public hearing? I will close the public hearing at 6:36. Council, do we have any more discussion?
I want to make it clear, Mayor, that anybody who has a business or commercial property or lot, they're still allowed to continue, on the road to be able to put a business or commercial property. I just want to make sure we don't have to go jump through hoops to get them back to what they originally bought the property for. And that makes growth for the whole community, bringing a restaurant, a hotel. Without doing that, we're not going to be able to get all these infrastructure in for these kind of businesses.
I absolutely agree with you, Councilor Ortega. And the last thing that we want to be is anti-growth, and we want to attract business and increase our GRT. That's the only way we're going to survive. So appreciate that.
I do have a question for Mr. Lafore. Does any of the amendments that we're addressing tonight address any of the issues that you brought forward with folks coming in for an exemption? Or we're gonna have to wait until for the new ordinance to fully address that? So like a lot of folks have come in bringing in modular home or trying to add a garage and stuff. Are we addressing that tonight, or that's gonna come down the road?
If we amend the former ARO zoning district to RA1, you're gonna eliminate the need for a variance for people that want to move a mobile home, a manufactured home, or build a home along North Iowa corridor. Right now, as you know, that is pretty much a residential district right now. And anyone now that buys a piece of property there has to go through a variance process if they want to build a home there. If you want to build a carport or a garage or whatever in an R1 district, as long as you're doing it on a property that is at least a minimum of 1 acre, you won't have to go through a variance process. To address your question about mobile homes, in our current zoning ordinance, any mobile home that comes into the village has to go before you as a special exception.
Wow.
And then depending on lot size and the zoning district, they might have to go through a variance as well. So the answer to your question is it does somewhat, but not totally. I think when we look at a more extensive update to our zoning ordinance, those kind of questions need to be addressed.
Any other questions?
Mayor, so looking at dimensional requirements for R2, looks like we can split an acre into 7 different lots without any of the owners having to go through a variance. Is that correct?
We've not had an issue where somebody has done that in R2. I know for lot splits, as long as it hasn't been done in the last 5 years, it's allowed by the assessor's office. So we've not had that come before us. So I don't really know the answer to that.
Okay.
If that were to come before us, I'd have to research it, talk to the county and you all, and see how we feel about it, how we move forward.
Well, Mayor, I seen something about a bowling alley and something about a driving range golf. Let's push forward.
Let's push forward. I got asked last week for a golf course, but I don't think we have the water for that. Well, this is a discussion, consideration, decision. So if there's no further discussion, I entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make the motion to approve the planning and zoning ordinance 74-43.
Discussion.
I have a motion by Councilman Gonzalez and second by Councilwoman Gallegos. Councilman Jaramillo, I'll open this to discussion.
I was gonna propose an amendment, to your motion, and I was kind of working on it. And I don't quite have a motion to approve the amendment to include the new designations to the zoning map. And all existing commercial properties will remain the same. Trying to get at what Councilor Ortega was saying, and Mr. Ortega was saying that the existing properties or the grandfather didn't remain the same. That's what I was trying to work on. That way
I'll
it's,
rescind my motion and let Mr. Jaramillo word his own.
well, we have to vote on your motion first.
So can, so, no, we don't need to vote on your, we don't need to vote, you rescinded your motion, so we're not going to vote on it.
Okay.
So you've rescinded your motion, so you rescinded.
Okay, I make a motion to approve an amendment to the zoning map to include the new designations and that all existing commercial properties as they currently exist today will remain grandfathered in.
I'll second that.
So is that a motion to add the amendment? We're not voting on the ordinance.
Well,
I want a point of clarification.
okay, so we're adopting the changes that staff's recommending to the zoning map along with that all existing commercial properties will remain the same, and the other amendment to the zoning ordinance that staff has proposed, the ARO is an example of that.
So I have a motion by Councilman Jaramillo to use, I have a second by Councilman Ortega. Madam Clerk, please call roll.
Yes. Councilman Jason Gonzalez.
Yes.
Councilman Darrell Ortega.
Yes.
Councilman Brent Jaramillo.
Yes.
Councilwoman Louise Gray. Yes.
Thank you, councilors. That's a work in progress. And next item is employee recognitions. Ms. Shannon, I know you're doing the time of service to the village recognitions, but would you take a minute to recognize our new police officer since he is here tonight?
Mayor and council, members of the public, I would like to present our new police chief, Ezequiel Romero.
Councilman, Councilwoman, Mayor, pleasure being here this evening. I have a report in front of you guys. My apologies, I couldn't get it to you guys earlier. But my main reason here today is to introduce Officer Vargas to the force as well. He wrote a speech, so he'll come up here now and introduce himself.
I am pretty impressed that you two went for your uniforms last week and you already have them, so you're looking good in the Questa blue.
Right. Good evening, Mayor, Council, members of community. As Chief Romero said, I'm the new officer to Questa PD, Jeffrey Vargas. I'm honored to be standing in front of you guys this evening, to be back in the community that I used to patrol in my younger years, and I'm excited to be part of the Questa Police Department.
Welcome, we're very proud to have you.
Thank you.
How many years of service do you have?
So I have 9 total years altogether.
I don't know if I should say this, but you look like you're
Fresh out of high school.
fresh out of high school.
Well, thank you. It must be the water that I drink. Thank you.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Chief Romero.
What was that? Y'all clean up yourselves?
Have to look presentable.
No cowboy hat?
Hat's on the way, but not.
Different color.
Well, and thank you, I know you thought it was a little bit late, but it's still good to have it here, so thank you for that.
We have 3 employees tonight,
3.
and Sharon Nicholson from the library will present 2, and I will present 1.
I want to start by saying the one you're presenting I had first. Just had to get that in. Audrey? So I have really cool employees at the library. I am proud of each and every one of them. And this is Adriana Leon. I'm sure she's very familiar to all of you. She grew up here. She's a product of Questa, and Questa should be very proud of her.
Yeah.
Audrey came to work for us last January, shortly before the flood. And Audrey was one of the people wondering, do I have a job? Will I have a job? How long will I have a job? No, what's going on? I just got a job. And thank you to the council and to Karen for graciously keeping her on. I was able to keep all of my employees employed who wanted to be during that time. And it was kind of difficult because they were all ready to learn all this stuff and there wasn't anything much to learn. And we did keep the library open, and we had lots of people who came and enjoyed having the library. I find Audrey to be a delight to come to work with. She's got a good attitude all the time. She's got a smile on her face. People love seeing her at the desk. She's efficient, very efficient. All the wonderful flyers that you see, she's doing them now. And it's just great to have really cool people to work with. So Audrey, I would like to present you.
Oh,
You can keep notes.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. So I hope you'll come in and see Audrey in action. And I will. One other employee who couldn't be here tonight is Monica. What's Monica's last name? Boyle, thank you. Monica's principal job is to run the summer reading program, and she does that quite well. And we're working on it right now. We've requested the helicopter, thank you. So we will have, and all adults are welcome to come that day. It's really okay. She has been with us for 3 years, and she's done other things. She's been substitute librarian. She's helped us educate a lot of seniors in how to use their phones, and she's been very much appreciated as well. So I want to thank Monica, and she said to tell you thank you for the honor. She's really delighted. So thank you.
This is Angela Levy. She brings joy to the office every single day. She's been with the Village of Questa for 1 year. She did start in the library, and she's currently our accounts payable clerk, and she's taking on the job of records retention. So she's getting our records every time we bring something to you to get your approval for destruction. Last Thursday, the shredders were here. That has been Angela helping us. So she likes that job. So we're glad about that. She has a master's in accounting from St. Thomas University in Houston. She's lived in Questa for 3.5 years, and she loves Questa. She's always talking about how she loves Questa, and she loves animals, and we love her working in our office and bringing joy to us every day.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for that.
If you've been into the office and if you've been to the library, you'll see that when Angela's here and when Audrey's at the library, you greeted with a smile, you greeted with happiness, and happy to have both of you. Thank you for your service to the village of
Thank you
Questa.
so much. Thank you.
Next item is discussion consideration decision acceptance of facility build proposal for stucco at the Questa Public Library and granting the mayor and ministry the authority to sign the final negotiated contract.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. In your packets, I have included a memo, the estate price agreement, as well as the proposal. And I do apologize, I realize that I did not include the contract in your packet, but I did email it to you earlier. And Mr. Ortega and Ms. Gallegos, I did just provide you a physical copy on your desk. So the library has been a long time coming. We have been trying to renovate the library for quite some time now. We were able to make the renovations at the current library. Right now, we were able to redo the roof on the old part of the building. We were also able to exchange some of the old leaky tiles that they had that were just kind of looking a little bit grimy. And we were also able to add some things that Miss Nicholson wanted, which was more shelving space in the old building. As you guys know, the library did flood last year. Yeah, so the library did take a pretty big hit last year. As we know, it did flood. And so we were very happy to be able to get the renovations done. They were able to get new carpet and get all that back in order again. We were able to get some funding, and they, like I stated, they were able to redo the roof. It had really bad leaks. The ceiling tiles looked really poorly. We were able to get those, and then, like I said, they are starting on the on demolishing the door, closing it up to add more shelving space in the old part of the library. So this is technically, the stucco should have been included in that first phase, but we did run out of funding, unfortunately. And so Ms. Nicholson did receive a grant.
From the library, the state library, right?
Yeah, it's a state library grant that she gets, I'm pretty sure, every year. And so we're able to apply some of those funds to finish off this project. Facility Bill did do the entire project, and they were scheduled to do the stucco, but again, we did run out of funding, and so she would like to proceed to get the stucco done to complete this project. After this project, I know this isn't on the agenda, but it does have to do with the library. There is $175,000 waiting for the library from USDA. The grant is kind of a hill to get over, but we have been in communication with the ladies over at USDA, and we are, once we're finished with the stucco, then we'll get a new proposal to make the outside of the library ADA compliant, as it is part of a state requirement for that USDA grant. Your outside needs to be ADA compliant before they can use the funds for anything else. So we've been fortunate enough to kind of check off all of Ms. Nicholson's checklist of the things that she's needed and wanted for the library. So once the stucco project is completed, then we can move on with USDA and get the outside ADA compliant as well. So I just, it's imperative for us to move forward with this. I am bringing you this before council. Like I stated, it wasn't the original proposal, but we just want to let you guys know what's going on and ensure that you guys, are in the know of what's happening over at the library. So I stand for any questions if you have any.
When did this project get started on the stucco?
So I did let them know that we were bringing this to council. They are part of the state price agreement. Like I stated, they were part of the first part of the project. Are they still working on the walls right now, or they're going to start?
We're waiting for the doors to arrive, they should arrive next week.
Yeah. Okay, so they're actually still there, and so we just kind of want to keep things rolling. And so with weather dependent, we're hoping that they'll get started like right around the springtime once it starts to warm up. April-ish.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Mayor.
Councilor Ortega.
So I guess my question isn't really towards you, but it's towards council and the mayor. maybe you guys too, but we need to start, when we build these contracts, we need to build a start date and an end date. And if we don't get an end date done by a certain time, then we need to impose fines, just like the Questa Road. You know, we keep getting pushed off and the money's there, but, you know, then when they come back in a year, oh, it's, the prices have gone up because of the asphalt, because of this. So we're biting the bullet instead of the contractor having to bite the bullet. So I'd like to see somehow that we, as a council and mayor, can change that to where we get these contracts and we actually put start dates and end dates.
So
And
Ms., I'm
yeah.
sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
So lesson learned, actually, if you look at the first page, I did put an end date on this project, just for that matter. As much as we understand inflation and stuff, a hard lesson that Jake and I have had to learn is weather waits for nobody. And unfortunately, you know, we want to get these things done. And I really want the contractors, not that anybody has told us otherwise, but we really want them to let us know, like, can you do the project? And if so, give us a time frame, and we will hold them accountable to that time frame. So on this particular contract, my goal is, if you guys approve this contract, it will be sent to them over tomorrow morning. It does state that the contract is executed as of the day of when the mayor or the administrator signed, which we never sign first. We send it off to the contractors. I gave them about 2 to 3 business days, and they are expected to send it back to us. And then I put it on the mayor or Karen's desk to sign. And like I stated, there is an end date on here just for that reason, because we want to see these projects get.
So I understand there's an end date, but I don't see a penalty for not finishing on the end date. There should be something that says $200 a day past this day or whatever. I don't know what the amount is, but there needs to be an amount, because now we're just kind of pushed out, just like we are with the Questa Road and whatever else projects are going on, but I'm pretty familiar with that one. I tried that road, miserable road every day, and it's just beyond, you know, and just knowing that the money's there and the contractor had the contract and he didn't, and he's just pushing us out. Yeah, so I'm thinking maybe with the attorney and the mayor and the council, we could actually come up with something that's, you know, holds them accountable and finishes this in a timely manner, just so we don't have to go back and pay an extra $1 million, because now we waited 2 years and asphalt went up, gravel went up, you know, labor went up. So I think we need to do that as a council and mayor, and I think that'd be great with the attorney's help, and we move forward.
And I do apologize, Mr. Ortega, I thought that there was something here, what is it called? I can't think of the word.
Penalties?
There's penalties, liens, there's another word for it.
Yeah, there's another word for it, where basically, like, if they don't finish it, then we can basically go after them with our attorney. And I thought that this was in here, so I will definitely make that change on this.
Yeah, because I just got that and I didn't see it.
Yeah, and I know that we had it previously, so I'll just make sure that maybe I got it from a different contract. So I'll get with our attorney, make sure that gets added in there.
Any other discussion? I think, Counselor, and I don't know if that's what you want to discuss during the executive session, but I'm glad that you brought it out.
Yeah, I wanted to discuss it, but I haven't brought it up here again, but.
Yeah.
You know, something.
I think, and unless our attorney, Ms. Ramos, tells us we can't do it, I think we could approve this item tonight, adding that amendment to the contract. I don't see why we couldn't do that. I agree. I think we have, and it's not just a problem here in Questa, it's a problem statewide, where there's money on the table that is staying on the table because we're not spending it fast enough, but.
Yes.
Mayor, with that being said, do you think that we might get some of these contracts, we'll lose bidders on them?
No.
If we're holding them accountable?
No.
No?
They expect, most of them expect that.
If they're expecting that, then sounds like a good plan. Had to ask that question.
I think it's a legitimate ask. If they can't make it, then, I mean, there's, outs for them if they can't make it, but they won't apply for it. They won't bid the grant, the project, if they don't think they can make that deadline.
And I agree with having penalties on the projects and even, a little bit of a shorter timeframe. I mean, just plugging this in from today till October 1st, it's 233 days, and this should be anywhere from I'd say 60-day construction schedule, after the notice to proceed. Because, yeah, we can't sign it and expect them to stucco now in April, because it still could be too cool to, have other issues, but.
And they did let us know that it wouldn't take that long. But just from other projects, I know that a buffer is probably shouldn't be given, but we've seen times where maybe there is a material, like we had a project where they were supposed to pick up concrete and Taos. They didn't have enough, and then they had to wait another 2 weeks because they had to go to another place somewhere else. And so it was just an unexpected issue that happened that none of us accounted for. And so, but if all goes well, yes, the project, they did state that it should not take, more than 60, 90 days.
So, can I entertain the motion to approve this contract with, I would just ask.
Motion to approve contract with the facility built for the Stockport Questa Public Library with the changes that we have mentioned, adding the penalties.
Motion by Councilwoman Gallegos, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Jaramillo. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman Brent Jaramillo.
Yes.
Councilwoman Luis Gallegos.
Yes.
Councilman Jason Gonzalez.
Yes.
Councilman Darrell Ortega.
Yes.
Next item is discussion, consideration, decision, purchase of 2 police units for the Village of Questa Police Department. SPA with Chalmers Ford.
So I'm just gonna pull Chief Romero up with me. So this item was tabled from the last meeting because he had just been appointed chief, and you all felt that his opinion should be valued. Not that I didn't value it, but and so anyways, after talking, he is okay with the original choice of the vehicles. And so everything stayed the same, the amounts, state price agreement. We will be purchasing 2 trucks, and they're ready for pickup whenever you are.
All right.
Chief,
No,
Make a motion to approve. Second.
motion by Councilman Ortega, second by Councilman Gonzalez. Madam Clerk, please call roll.
Councilman Brent Jaramillo.
Yes.
Councilwoman Luis Gallegos.
Yes.
Councilman Jason Gonzalez.
Yes.
Councilman Darrell Ortega.
Yes.
So Chief, real quick before, I should have probably asked this, but do you feel pretty comfortable once we get these 2 units with your fleet?
Yeah, except for my unit, it's overheating. There's a couple issues with it, making some noises and stuff like that. But I have reached out to other departments, stuff like that, to see if they had another administrative kind of card or another unit. I'm waiting to hear back from a couple other departments, see if they're willing to part ways with some, but
Have you checked with the state police to see if they have any?
one of them is with the state police.
Okay.
But got a couple other places that are kind of trying to get feelers out there, see if there's anything available. I want to try to get a 4-wheel drive, not a 2-wheel drive, but other than that, we should be good.
Okay. And nothing to say that you can't take one of the new units either. And that is
No,
one of the
but-
very short.
Guys, you know what, I can hold.
Okay. Next item is discussion, consideration, decision resolution 2026-03 TPF extension request LP 50052 bridge number 8532.
Okay, so this is kind of happy news. So we started working on the bridge project last year. It was completed, and upon them completing the project, it turned out that we had an extra $230,000 left on the project. We were able to do everything that we had planned and a little bit extra, and so now we're left with this. We have reached out back to the contractor. They are on a state price agreement. I will bring that back over once we get everything, put in place with that. But basically, we did reach out to them for a proposal. There is some stuff that we took off. There's going to be some concrete work, like going out of the bridge and into the bridge. And so we reached out to see if they were able to do that, to continue that project that was originally taken off. They stated yes. And so we would like to, the only reason that we're asking for an extension for this is we just want to ensure that we're able to get them here and they're able to use the funds. Our goal, and according to them, they are going to be able to do the project. And this grant does expire June 30th of this year. And so we just hate to revert $230,000 back to NMDOT, especially since we fought so hard to get it over here. We would hate to give that money back. It was an unexpected overage on the, from the contractor. So we were happy, but also a little stressed about what could we do to enhance the bridge a little bit better. And so that's where this extension comes in. As stated, we do plan on completing it by June 30th so we can close this grant, but we're just asking this just to have a little buffer just in case of weather.
Mayor,
Councilman Gonzalez.
Ms. Vihil,
Yes.
can you tell me how much that walking portion, the pedestrian portion of the bridge is gonna cost?
Almost $1 million.
Just that portion?
So there was some issues with the bridge area, like on the bottom, or did they fix that? Oh, so never mind. I guess they ended up fixing it with this, but yes, that was what we were quoted, was $1 million. A couple years ago, we were fully funded. The plan and design took a really long time, took almost a year to finish the plan and design. They had to do a bunch of tests and stuff, and a bunch of, state officials had to come and look at it. And so costs just ended up going up, and so we weren't able to add the pedestrian bridge to this project. We did look it up though to make sure to see if even there was some sort of something that we could add, but.
Council, what I add is, we do have plan and design completely done for that pedestrian. So when we can, we'll look for, seek funds to construct that, but plan and design is done. And all the, environmental assessments associated with it.
Good.
Councilman Javier.
So, take me back to the beginning of your presentation. Maybe I missed it, but I didn't hear where you're saying staff wants to move the money to.
So yes, so we want to move the money to a portion of the quote that we had to take out in the original grant, or the original quote was to basically pave going into the bridge and then pave going out of the bridge.
So it's gonna stay at the bridge.
We can only use it
Right.
in that
that's-
area.
That's kind of where I was
Yeah,
getting at, because I missed that at the beginning. I apologize if you said it, I missed it.
yeah, that's okay. Yeah, so we can only keep it there, so.
I have one question.
Councilman Ortega.
So that money you're saying is only for that bridge?
Yes.
So the Highway Road, the bridge going across to the, Molly Field is in horrible shape. That thing is like the worst bridge we probably have.
Yes.
Are we looking for monies for that bridge?
So every year we get to go out for different money. I am very grateful to say that we've been fighting hard for Lower Embargo and for Questa, and we finally have both of those roads fully funded. Our next ask would be Embargo Road, and we are going to look into getting money for that bridge because
Possibly turn it to like a 2-lane bridge? Because that means that there's a safety issue there, especially in the wintertime.
I think I've seen some federal grants as well that are specific to bridges, that maybe we can go after one of those.
That would be nice.
Yeah, I think,
So we did learn that, so our first year here, we ended up taking 7 projects to the DOT, and they practically laughed at us, but, go big or go home. And so throughout the years, we learned how to, learn the system and stuff, and we realized that if you ask for 2 or 3, that's probably how you're gonna end up getting funding. And so, we kind of have a list, but that is one of the bridges that we are definitely keeping an eye on to get funding for, so it's not forgotten.
One of the many, many road projects that,
Yeah, and I could have sworn we were on here for,
not that we've seen.
I thought it was like the first version of TPF, Transportation Project Fund.
We double check
I
into
don't think
that.
so, they would be on me about it, but I haven't, maybe, but we could check.
Make a motion to approve resolution 2026-03, the extension request for DLP 500 coverage under 8532.
Motion by Councilwoman Gallegos. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Jaramillo. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman Brent Jaramillo,
Yes.
Councilwoman Louise Gagos,
Yes.
Councilman Jason Gonzalez.
Yes.
Councilman Darrell Ortega.
Yes.
Next item is discussion, consideration, decision, acceptance of GM Emulsion proposal for partial construction on Embargo Road using state price agreement and granting the mayor and administrator the authority to assign final negotiated contract.
Okay, so plan and design for Embargo Road has been completed. We were awarded funding for plan and design, and we do have it completed. We have been asking the DOT money for Embargo Road the last 2 years. And the reason that I put partial is because, how much do we have? Yeah, so 430,000 and the entire project is 1.2. Yeah, so the total project is about 1.2 million. So not enough to complete the project, but enough to, do something. In your packet, I did include the detailed quote from GM Emulsion on kind of what they plan on doing, and I will refer those questions to Jake if you don't mind, because he's been he's more in communication with them. But yeah, so we don't want to revert the $430,000 back to the DOT. We appreciate the funding, but we're just not quite sure like why they're only funding us a certain amount. This is actually 2 grants, correct? Yeah, so this is 3 little grants that we've gotten over the last couple of years to combine this 430,000. And so we want to at least, now we have enough to at least do something on the road. And so that's kind of what our goal is, to do that. We will be going to the DOT this year to ask for the remainder of the of the project money, so we can hopefully get it fully funded and finished.
What section I see we have 1,400 feet.
So just for the sake of getting the proposal, we suggested we're at the intersection of, I call it Upper Embargo Road and Lower Embargo Road.
Yeah.
Right there. So that would be there, and then going south 1,400 feet.
And the only reason I ask, because that's the worst part of it.
And, if council wants to move that 1,400 feet this way or that way, I don't think it's gonna make a difference as far as the proposal goes.
I think so. Councilors, I'm sure you've all, on top of hearing from residents on Covresto Road, we've heard from residents on Embargo Road, we've heard from residents on Old Red River or Old Lama Road, but I just think it's important to get at least part of this project done, and then we can phase out the other section and hopefully get money from TPF this year to finish.
The money that we've received so far for Embargo Road is a combination of LGRF funds, MAP funds, and that's about it. Pretty much MAP funds and 1 LGRF fund. We've brought it before NPR TPO and submitted TPF applications for the past 3 years. We've never received any TPF funds for this road, so fingers crossed, we're gonna present this as our main presentation coming up in April, and hopefully we'll get the remaining money to finish the project.
So let me ask you this, is if we sign this contract, approve this tonight, sign this contract, because all GM Emulsion will have all three of them, Cavesto, Lower Embargo, and this one. They're scheduled for Cavesto starting April 1st. Are they gonna continue on from Cavesto Road to Lower Embargo and then do this right away? Is that the plan?
So we've had a verbal commitment from the owner of GM Emulsion that he will definitely do Cabresto and piggyback Lower Embargo after Cabresto. Depending on how soon we can get this approved and a contract drafted and sent to them, then I think our chances are pretty good because they'll already be here. They won't have to mobilize again. And if they're available, I'm sure they'll do it. But we don't have a commitment from them to do upper, but definitely Cabresto and Lower.
Okay, we need to get that done as soon as possible, as long as it's approved tonight, because to Councilor Ortega's point, if they get off the hook on this, we won't see them again until 2027.
Right.
If they leave Questa, I don't think we see them again till 2027. I don't want to see that. I don't think that's a year away.
The situation with GM Emulsion is we're competing with the county, Town of Taos, Red River, Angel Fire, us, and other municipalities. So we're doing our best to.
The county already got the use out of
here.
The county can be put on the back burner, and Red River's already gotten their use out of them.
Yeah,
So I think it's our turn.
Yeah.
Mayor, I guess I misunderstood you, Mr. Lojore. So we're going from Eats and Sweets to Polito's Garage, right? Or
No.
No.
That's Lower Embargo Road. From Polito's Garage down south.
Say that again one more time?
From Polito Senior's Garage
Yeah.
down 1,400 feet.
Oh, okay, down towards,
Toward,
yeah. Okay, and that'll take us, I'm looking at the map right now.
Yes.
Approximately where do you think they're? So I'm looking at it probably not that far, but almost there, yeah.
Did you get the map?
Yeah, but it's kind of ends, and I don't know where the end point is.
So you just put in your, will feed into your app.
Yeah,
So
it's almost to the crow's nest, right?
Yeah, the map when it printed must have cut off the end point on there.
Yeah.
So I can't really tell for sure, but.
Okay, thank you.
1,400 linear feet.
Great.
Okay, Mayor.
Councilor Ortega.
So the total project from 522 all the way down to the Herreras is the 1.4 million.
Mhm.
And that includes the little road going down to Frank's. No, that's not nothing with that. So my concern is, GM Emulsion, I've seen the work they're doing, and it's not very good. Cabresto Road, I brought it to Ms. Karen, pictures of the culverts they have put in, and they were washed out. I have pictures of them if anyone wants to see them. They didn't come back, they wanted our people to fix it, but yet we paid them. And they're like, yeah, whatever, and like you said, Red River's the priority with sidewalks right now, they'll probably stay there all summer. So that's my concern with GM Emulsion. We can't go up to, did anyone else propose, or do we just go to one contractor for this project?
So we use the state price agreement for this. And so we did look at other contractors. I didn't get quotes from them or anything. At the time, we were really just focused on Cabresto and Lower Embargo. And we did reach out to some of them just to speak with them and kind of see where they were. And they either were like a year out, or they were either like in Albuquerque and their mobilization fees were too much. But just because we were trying to get Cabresto Road, I was really trying to hone in on the state price agreement to kind of get things moving. And they were already in the area and they were able to. So we're aware of the culvert situation. We did speak with them and give them our concerns as to, that work is, really just, we don't want that kind of work. And so we're really holding them to a higher standard now. We do plan on, our goal is not to keep with the same contractors every time. It's just these ones are like, unfortunately, Mr. Ortega, these are funds that like Cabresto Road, when we came in, these funds were already in-house and we had them for 2 years. And so we really just want to expend these funds and get them out so we can seek new road projects and also be able to give a chance to other contractors to be able to get to these projects.
So my concern is going up to someone else, like RL Leader, they do the state thing, funds. I don't know if Silva, he's in Taos, Joey Fairfield, she's not very far away.
So we did search up anybody like within like Taos and stuff like that, and unfortunately, I didn't see the ones that I looked up were in state price agreements, but again, we're more than happy and open to look at other contractors that you may know, because again, we're not trying to like not use them, it was just, you know, kind of a time of essence thing. And so for this one, you know, I do ask, these funds are expiring, so I do ask that, you know, we do get your approval for time's sake, but I'm more than happy to get the list of those contractors, and for these new roads that we get funding for, we're more than happy to reach out to them.
Yeah, because that's just my concern is the work they're doing is not up to par, and I think we're getting the short end of the stick, just like the rest road, and then he came back and asked for more money because it costs more now, you know, so I don't think that's fair to the village, and I don't think that's fair to anybody else here, but I personally, if this is just engineering, you can't go up to Wilson or somebody for engineering?
This is for construction.
Oh, so it's part of the engineering and construction?
So engineering was through NV5.
So they already did that?
Yes, the planning design is already done.
Do you remember the cost of that?
Oh gosh, no, but I can definitely get that for you.
All right, well, so that's something I'm interested in looking at someone else, so, you know, that's just my personal opinion on GM emulsion, so that's all I have, man.
So I'm gonna follow up on that. We pay MV5 for construction management. I think we pay them a pretty penny, and they should be finding this stuff too and seeing these culverts, and it's really up to, I mean, yeah, ultimately it's up to us, but they should have caught all that stuff before. They should be fixing that. We pay MV5 quite a bit of money to do these construction management jobs. So that's my comment on that. Councilors, do you have any comments?
The only comment is, at one point, Northern Mountain Constructors did have a state price agreement on this type of work. They didn't have it for an overlay type, but this type of work they used to. I don't know if they still have it or not, but at one point they did. This one's a little bit different.
And I think at the time they weren't interested because they were still working on the project in Alcalde, and they weren't taking on any more work at that time either.
Yeah, I don't know where they're at now. When I'm doing the road to Colorado.
Okay, any further discussion? Can I entertain a motion for approval?
I'll make a motion to accept GM emulsion proposal for partial construction on Embargo Road using state price agreement.
So we're gonna add the contingency there, the penalty if it's not done within the time done.
I have a motion. Would you kindly amend your motion to add the contingency of the penalty?
And I would like to add the contingency that we would impose a penalty.
I have a motion by Councilman Gonzalez. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Jaramillo. Madam Clerk, please call roll.
Councilman Brent Jaramillo.
Yes.
Councilwoman Louise Gallegos.
Yes.
Councilman Jason
Yes.
Gonzalez. Councilman Darrell Ortega.
No.
Thank you, councilors. Next item is matters from the administrator.
I have plenty, somebody else.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Both budget adjustment requests that you approved last meeting have been approved by DFA. The fiscal year 26 second quarter report was filed timely with DFA and it is currently in review. We were hoping to have a project and grant update for you today along with financial report. We'll try to get that for you at the next council meeting. I'm out the rest of this week on vacation and will return on Tuesday, February 17th, Monday, February 16th is President's Day, so it's a holiday. The offices will be closed. The youth center has several leaks on the roof. Our guys did what they could to fix them for now, but we will need to do some extensive work inside as well as outside. I did reach out to our roof guy at the New Mexico Municipal League for some assistance, and we'll probably put in a claim to get that roof fixed and the inside of the building as well. Last week, I spoke with Emily Rollison Elliott, Finance Director for Taos County. She indicated that instead of 10% of the GRT for fire and EMS, we will be getting 6%. That gives us a shortfall this year of about $53,000 from our estimated budget. We will be okay for this year, but we need to come up with another funding source for next year and moving forward. And she did suggest that we get together when we start working on budgets to see how we're gonna come up with these monies for next year and see how we can look for different funding sources. I did tell her that our funding for some of these salaries for this year was the recruitment and retention fund for the firefighters, and we're using all that up by the end of this fiscal year. She said the county was the same way. So they'll be looking for the same thing next year.
There, Ms. Shannon,
Sir?
by chance, did she give you a breakdown of the rest of the entities that, what the percentage were gonna be?
We did not talk about the other.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm looking into presenting a local gross receipts tax increase. What I just handed you is what the current rates are and how it's broken down for the Village of Questa at the top, and what our total is and the other surrounding entities. The current rate as of July 1st for 2025 through June 30th, 2026. This increase would have to be approved and submitted to New Mexico Taxation and Revenue Department by March 31st in order for it to be enacted for July 1. We will be scheduling a public hearing on this matter. At the next meeting, I will have estimates for you on how we can, how much money we could produce from this estimate or increase. Option 601 at the top left, we currently have 1.4375%. If we increase it by 0.6125%, we will reach the max available on that option at 2.05%. Option 602 has to be increased by voter referendum, so we cannot touch that at this time. We'd have to take it to the voters for an increase. As you can see, Taos County gets 2.125% and New Mexico State gets 4.875%. So the village GRT rate is currently at 8.5625%.
So my math shows me that if we do the 0.14375, that would put our GRT to 8.70875 as a whole.
It'll be 9.175.
Wait,
You gotta have one for me. It's 9.
We can only increase it by 0.6125 without voter referendum. So it would end up being 9.175. That would be the same as the town of Taos, what they have right now. I am open to suggestions on how else we can come up with money for our fire department, for their salaries. If you have any ideas. We are coming into budget season. As soon as I get back next week, we'll be hitting it full force. Coming up with our salaries, coming up with expenditures. I did reach out to them during our leadership meeting and ask them, what does your department need? What equipment? what vehicles, whatever it is that they need, to make a list so that we can see how we're gonna build our budget for this year. But $53,000 just for February through the end of the year, that's a huge cut. And next year's will be even more.
If I may, Mayor,
Councilor Ortega.
is that also EMS also? Is that fire and EMS?
We can use it both for fire and EMS.
No, the cut they're cutting.
The cut they are cutting it, the money we can use for both fire and EMS, but we use it for fire because we have funding sources for EMS. We have billing for the ambulance, and we have the Taos County that gives us some money towards EMS salaries. So it can be used for either one.
So do you know the amount the county gives us for EMS? But just.
It is $37,500 a quarter.
A quarter. 150 a year, and it was like 200 at one time, right?
That was during COVID. It was a temporary increase.
I'm really concerned because I don't think we can burden the taxpayer. You know, we just passed a mill levy on the school or properties. We just passed a mill levy on the hospital. Now we're trying to go out and get some more GRT money. You know, this community isn't, you know, that kind of community. Red River, they can get tourism. They pay that. You know, Red Taos, what do we got? You know, it's going to be basically us, people who live here, are gonna pay that tax. It would be hardly the tourists paying any of that. So that's it's a tough decision that we're gonna have to make, but it's gonna have to be made, whatever it may be. Without seeing the budget, and I was gonna ask for that, but we'll get it next week, you said?
The next meeting, I can give you the financial report for this year, and then we can look at budget going forward.
Okay, you don't have to.
Mayor, Ms. Shannon. So we're looking to get up to 9.1750, correct?
Yes.
And then we're currently at 8.5625.
Correct.
So the proposed increase would be 0.6125.
Yes.
Okay, I didn't see that on the paper.
No, because I haven't done all the math for it yet. I want to give you some options. So I want to say the max we can get is 0.6125%, but if we do these other increments, that's the max that we're allowed.
Okay,
but if we do other increments and not take the full amount, I need to do the math to show you how much revenue would be generated from the increase.
Okay.
And that's what I didn't finish for tonight's meeting.
But also, one of the things we had said over the last couple of months, we also have to take into account, and we're not there today, but over the next few months, we're gonna be sitting down with Kit Carson and negotiating the sale. Once the solar array is built, the power back to Kit Carson, but then, so there's that revenue generation. There's some what ifs, I'm not saying that.
Right.
So if the hydrogen project comes online, if the solar array project comes in online, you have other revenue sources that will be hitting later in the next fiscal year.
Counselor, I don't know that those GRT increases will happen in the next calendar or fiscal year. I think they're a little bit further down the line. The construction of it, maybe that would help the GRTs, but we're not gonna have some construction, we're getting other construction, so those GRTs will be here.
We're definitely gonna see a construction boom, so I'm not here, I don't know the numbers, but I'm saying there's gonna be a construction boom, so even if that would make up and help get us all through this, that's where I don't want to say we're hitching our horses to hydrogen or to the solar. Everybody has their own thoughts on that, but it's like we also need to keep that in mind before we raise the GRT on the public or the businesses. So it might be a little slim for a while until those come into fruition. Because then it's harder to walk back. Let's just say everything happens, everybody's hunky-dory, the village is making all kinds of money, then it's harder to walk back a tax increase to the citizens.
I understand that, Counselor.
I think, and looking at that construction GRT, it's gonna be pretty extensive. Maybe we can just try and model that out a little bit. And see what that construction GRT is gonna be. That's gonna be pretty big. If that can get us to the PPA, then we'll be in good shape.
If I may, Mayor,
Counselor.
how many employees does the fire department have right now, full-time employees?
4 full-time.
4 full-time?
And our chief is half-time in fire and half-time in EMS,
So it's 4.5.
4.5.
Okay, and altogether, what are those 4 salaries for the school year? 4.5, roughly. I'm not asking for exact.
Fire payroll and benefits is $391,067.71.
We're gonna be a shortfall of 53,000?
For this fiscal year.
Yeah, and then next year is gonna be, so till June, and July 1, we'll know exactly how much more it's gonna be.
Our budgeted GRT from this tax for this year was $287,000. And we're decreasing that by 53,000 for this year. Next year, it will be less.
So it's basically, an employee now, right now.
Yes,
It could be more.
could be more. I just wanted you to make aware that of the possibility. Gross receipts tax can only be increased once a year. It comes effective July 1st. So if you direct me not to forgo this, we can stop it right now and we'll see how we go for the next year, but we cannot get another GRT increase until next year at this time.
I think, at the very least, we should see the model of it. I don't think we need to go to over 9% either. I really don't think we need to put that burden on, but let's just look at the model and then see how much even adding 1% or just a little bit might help us. We are by far the lowest as you see in Taos County. I'm not saying we need to compete with the rest of them, but it might get us get us paid and help us with what we're losing out from Taos County, from 10 to 6%. So I think this warrants further discussion at the next meeting.
Madam Clerk, when would be the last time we'd be able to put the ad in the paper if we were to enact this so that it would be available, approved and available to send to New Mexico Taxation Revenue by March 31st?
Wait a minute. I don't think we could still have a vote on this and have the public hearing on March 24th, right?
Yes, so if you put it in.
So I think we still have some time. I think we can look at it after next meeting. I'm not saying that we can have to make the decision next meeting, but we can
I just want to make sure we have enough
Shannon
time.
guidance by next meeting.
So I just want to say, paper requires permission. If we were to take it on the 24th, that would give her about 2.5 days to get it to whoever she needs to get it to. I don't know what the process is like, but.
I'll have to find out.
Just keep that in mind, she'll only have about 2.5 days to get the paperwork done if we were to push it. So if we wanted to move it to the 24th meeting, then if we have.
Oh, I think
We would
Ms.
have to
Fihul.
have it into the paper by February 27th.
And I think too, there's options there too. We don't necessarily, if we think that's not enough time, we can have a special meeting. So, which is the public hearing for this if we needed to. I just think, I don't think that decision to move forward or not move forward needs to be made tonight. I think we need to see more on it and make a decision off that.
Okay,
I think, I would guess that the rest of you all want to see what kind of revenue that might generate and what the effects it's going to have on our taxpayers. Before we actually make a decision.
well, that being said, I stand for any further questions.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Next, I'll open it up for matters from the mayor and council.
So the first thing I'd like to bring up is resolution 2025-40. And states, and you guys voted on that on the 25th of December, the Open Meetings Act resolution. So number 4 says, in the event shall be given with 7B below, there is no 7B on that resolution. The one I have anyway. So that's one thing. The add to that is, if I'm trying to put something on the agenda, I shouldn't have to ask Karen to ask you, do you meet with someone to put them on the agenda? I'm thinking, as long as we're not being burdensome and putting 100 items on the agenda, we should have, the public be able to come and put themselves on the agenda. The person I'm talking about right now is those corrals at the village that I talked about last meeting for Juan Cisneros wanted to give a presentation, but he was denied being on this agenda. So I don't understand exactly, because I read that whole Open Meetings Act resolution. It doesn't say in there that there has to be me give it to the mayor or Karen, and then you guys decide if you put it on or not, or you meet with them in private settings and deal with it. And if that's the case, if I'm asking for something to be on the agenda, then I'm gonna ask to be in that meeting that you're having with the people I'm trying to put on the agenda.
And it doesn't state that, but what it does state is that it is the mayor's agenda. And basically, I decide what gets to be up on the agenda. Even staff has to ask me to put something on the agenda.
I don't read that in that ordinance. Can you pinpoint that part for me? Because that's the resolution 2025-40.
Okay. It is the mayor's agenda though, so. And I get what you're saying. He wasn't denied to be on this agenda. I did have a discussion with him, and there is some homework that we have to do on both sides, and I told him that, asked him if he'd be amenable to coming on the 24th, and he was amenable to that.
So my concern though is you're picking and choosing what goes on the agenda, and only you. So me as a person on the council has no say so unless the mayor decides, well, that's how you're doing it. So
that's that
other lady, what was her name? Jessica Joseph wanted to be on it. I think you told her no too.
I didn't tell her no. I told her that she has to come and meet with me.
See, there you go. So we're having these private meetings. I don't know if that's even considered legal, that meet with someone, we see what they want. Then if you don't like what they want, you don't put them on the agenda.
It's my agenda, so I can decide what.
So I'd like to see in that resolution where it says that's your agenda.
It is my agenda. It is in my agenda, and I can decide what goes on it. And
can you look that up for me, Karen? Because you made me a copy, but I didn't bring it with me. But I did read it inside out, and I don't find that only the mayor decides what goes on the agenda.
the mayor decides, and if there's 3 of you that want to put something on the agenda, then. So that's the way it works. But it is the mayor's agenda, Councilor, but I have been amenable. I didn't tell Jessica Joseph no either.
So then.
I asked her for a meeting.
Ask me if I'm correct. So right now, I could ask for something to be on the agenda and then we vote on it? Is that how we're gonna do this?
No, because we don't have it on the agenda to vote on it. We
So
can't take
then
action.
how do you decide that 3 people have to want it on the agenda?
They would have to contact Valerie. 3 of you would have to contact Valerie and ask for that item to be on the agenda.
So would that be a rolling program? If I talk to Brent and say, hey, Brent, you wanna put this on the agenda? Hey, Jason, you wanna put this on the, that's illegal. That's a rolling forum. You can't do that. So how do you get around not having a rolling forum?
We don't. It is, again, I'm gonna state, it is my agenda, and
So that's why I'm asking you, if it's your agenda, when do we as council, men and women, decide what we put on the agenda?
You could just ask me.
So I know, but you said no, so you got.
I've never told anyone no, I haven't told anyone no yet.
Well, that's for it to be on this agenda, it's not on the agenda.
I
so-
just, all I've done is had follow-up discussion with the people that want to be in the agenda. Anyone that's ever come on for a presentation on our agenda or an action item, they've come in with, they met with me first, anyone. Or they've called and requested it.
So I'm gonna request from you, Mayor, that you give me something in writing that states, we have to come up, 3 people on the council, have to come up with a way of asking for something to be on the agenda. And it's your agenda, and you're the say-so of what goes on and what we vote on. If you don't like it, we don't put it on. Because that's pretty concerning to me. That's kind of you dictating to us what you think is important, what's not, which basically isn't, because we have constituents that come to us and ask for certain things and they're not put on the agenda. So I need something in writing, because that resolution does not have anything like that on there. And maybe give it to the mayor, he might be able to find it, and then he can highlight it for me, or circle it, and then I'll know exactly. But even at that, you saying what's on the agenda, how do 3 people come up with, how do we get on the agenda? Without having a roll report, without me texting Jason, say, hey, Jason, you want this on the agenda? Hey, Brett, you want, Mr. Luis, you want this on the agenda? You know, how do we do that? How do we get around that part of an open meetings act violation?
Again, you all have to reach out to Valerie and Valerie's the one that makes the agenda, but she does it.
So that's what I'm saying, is I have to break the Open Meetings Act violation, and I gotta text Jason and text Brennan and text.
Not necessarily you, they can ask.
No, but if I want something on the agenda, I'm asking about me, I'm not asking about what they want. I'm not saying I want a presentation about the corrects. How do I go about getting that person on the agenda? Besides asking you and you say no.
Again, I haven't said no, so. And you didn't ask me.
I guess I gotta get this clarified as well from what the answer was you gave Mr. Ortega. So if 3 of us came to you with the same, then you would approve it?
Yes. Yeah. But I don't see it in the resolution that you guys voted on December, so if you could just highlight it for me at some point. Just fire me an email, I think I'm getting my email this week, correct? So I'll be able to get emails. Okay, that's that, and then, next thing was, you know, I came to Ms. Sharon, Shannon, sorry, and asked about a cease and desist letter from Chevron to Granite. And she provided me like an email, and there's not one, correct?
There is
That
no.
according to the email. There is no letter. So I'm requesting that our attorney be here present at the next meeting, so we can actually finish up the, the cleanup of the mine, which is the super fund. I think right now, we're just being left out to dry. They're told, we're not cleaning it up, we're not doing anything with it till next year, maybe. That's what he came and told us, but there's no paperwork that says that. So right now, we're in violation, we aren't, but Chevron is in violation of a court order that was signed by Judge Kelly saying, these are the parameters you're gonna use, this is how you're gonna clean it up. We're supposed to be having documents in this closet. Me and one person were here, and there's not any, but it should be every year, what's going on, but what's being cleaned up, what's not. I don't see any of that.
Chevron is putting together a new bid package out to get a new contractor in to be able to finish, and,
Fourth quarter of
Mr.
this year,
Herrera,
right?
he said by before they should have somebody in place by. That doesn't mean it couldn't happen earlier.
It doesn't mean it could happen later. Because there's nothing in writing.
We'll get,
I think we need to have our attorney present, so make sure that we, the community, is making sure that they're following the process of the cleanup, which was a super fund, which was issued by a federal judge, and make sure we get what what our constituents are supposed to be, not dealing with. So that's something to.
we'll get the attorneys.
Okay, I appreciate that. And then, just told I was gonna get my emails put up. It's been 41 days just so it's on the record. But I haven't been able to get emails. And it's probably gonna be more than that. I think it's sometime next week. I want to do a study session. How are we gonna go about doing a study session for the water rates? I asked about that last meeting. And I did get paperwork to it, but I didn't actually get how do we change policy or procedures or ordinance to that water rate of other people making money off of us, people that use the water for washing clothes and cooking and bathing, and someone, big company comes in with these millions of dollars and takes our water to, compact roads at the same rate we're paying, which is, wrong with me, but we need to address that. So how do we get that on the agenda there, Mayor?
We need to do, again, we'd be opening up the ordinance, so we have to rewrite the ordinance.
Do we not come together and then figure out what we want to rewrite, right? And then the attorney looks at it, make sure we're okay, then we present it at a meeting? That's what should be done, right?
Yeah, that's how we would do it. We'd work with the clerk and the lawyer and we'd get that rewritten. We do need to decide. Yeah, that's why I say we need to go back and look at a water rate study, because I don't know that, I don't want to be pulling numbers out of our hat to figure out what we should be charging on this water. We need to actually, I'd like to see the math behind it and the science. And we can probably request that. We can request that, but I do think we do need to put on the agenda.
Like a study session first, maybe for the public and us, and see what we want to do or what we think is fair. Then, have the attorney look it over, then, vote on it if that's what we decide as a council.
I think we need to have, like I say, we can research it a little bit, and I'm sure, Ms. Shannon, you probably already started researching it, right?
Email the paperwork already.
We have to, if we're gonna do a water rate study, we have to contract with somebody to do it. So that way we would be able, they would do the research for us and give us examples. Last time, they gave us 3 or 4 examples that said, these are the rates, what the rates you are, this is one option, this is another option, this is another option, and then we all decided which ones to take.
I think we can even look back at that, even though it's 9 years old.
So I just have a clarifying question for Councilor Tim. Are you saying the water rates in general, look at that, look at that now on the hydrant issue versus what everybody here is paying?
No,
I was talking about bulk water.
Right now,
and
that's what I'm saying, it's.
bulk water, and maybe people that aren't in the village limits, that are out, because they're paying the same as pretty much what we're paying. And, there has to be some sort of way. Another thing too is I see a lot of these vehicles picking water up here. Instead of paying the $2,500 to get a meter and actually tying it in, so it's cheaper for them to just come and grab the water they need. And, but the rest of us are picking up a $2,500 meter tab plus whatever it is a month, a minimum of $19, whatever. I'm not exact on that, but that's one thing. And then the other part of that is the solid waste also. Now I'm on the committee for solid waste, and I want to know the tonnage. I want to figure out, we have 2,100 residents in the past. Now we're down to 1,700, but our rates keep going up. And it's because we have surrounding communities filling up dumpsters and everybody thinks, well, my uncle lives there, so I get to throw my trash in there. Well, no, that's not how it works. But so we are saddled, the community, the village of Questa is saddled with a lot of expenses. Now we want to, raise the gross receipts tax possibly. We want to, raise all this other stuff. This community can't afford that kind of, impact. There's not the jobs that, what are they going to do? Work 3 jobs to live in Questa, and that's pretty much where a lot of people are. So I would like to see the solid waste on there also, if we can, Mayor Ortega. So if we can do those 2 and try to figure out a way for us to, I don't say lock the dumpsters, but perfect example is.
They have started locking some of the dumpsters. They did do that a few years back.
And there's
Because
still
there was
left.
people from Cerro putting on, and they did see that, so they did attach, a lot of homeowners did attach locks onto their.
So some don't still, and like the one here, the village office, right across from the fire department, there, the firehouse, or whatever that is, the ambulance. I seen a person driving on a motor vehicle that threw 13 bags of trash in it. out of the trunk of a car and the inside of a car, I'm like, there's no way that person lives in the village, because you don't put 13 bags and save them in your house and bring them.
Right.
So, that's a lot, and I talked to Karen about Dr. Jameson's office. Why don't we pull that dumpster out of there? Because now everybody thinks, hey, and it's overflowing, it's on the floor, and now our people gotta pick it up, it goes in the second, and then when we clean ditches, we gotta pick it up, so it turns into a big issue, and she did say, well, he pays for it. I said, yeah, but if we remove it, he can throw it in the curb center or somewhere else, like the rest of us do in our house, so we'll go to a different dumpster.
So all we have to do is, some of those dumpsters don't have the locking bars or what it is, and just call Amy and she can request from the waste manager that they come and attach one, and then you'll have to buy your own lock. And so let's say that 3 of us are in the same dumpster. You buy a lock, you give me a key, and you give Councilman Jaramillo a key, and we're all good.
But, there's like elderly in the community, and that's what I'm looking at, is how do we fix this problem that we have? We obviously have a pretty big problem with that.
I think, to answer your other 2 questions on the water and that, we can have a discussion and put that on a future agenda, maybe next agenda, and talk about water rights and water. I think, Ms. Shannon, without having to do a rate study, we could easily just ask Ms. Lopez to call, and I'm not saying call Taos and call Red River, call municipalities that are similar in size to Questa, similar GRT, and just kind of find out what their bulk water rates are. Some of them might be less, some of them might be more, but we can at least have something to look at. And we can call Red River and Taos as well, but just bulk water is bulk water, and I agree that we're giving it away. We need to change that, and we can open the ordinance. We'll just have to have a public hearing, advertise it, so we can have a discussion next meeting, and then after that, we can go to probably by the time we do the public hearing, will be till the end of March, but I agree with you on that. We need to get that fixed. We get that fixed before summer, because in summer is when we seem to be seeing these projects start, that they're pulling bulk water, and we need to get it fixed before they start doing that. I don't know if GM Emulsions is planning to pull bulk water, but all these contractors should be paying a better rate than what they are. So I think let's set that as the plan moving forward, Ms. Shannon. Let's have discussion on the next meeting with a plan to take action on the March 24th meeting. But just get us a little bit of research done.
I kind of spoke about the verbiage on the contracts that need to be added for all these contractors accountable, so we got that. The Cabresto Road project, and we got on that, we said April 1st, we're projecting to start that project. I guess my concern with that one is if any way we could see the engineering, because we don't have any barge ditches or runoff for the water, so it all goes into the road, and that new part of the road is already pretty bad shape, or as new as it is, it's not in good shape at all. I don't know if it's because of the barge ditches or because it wasn't a very good job, I don't know, but I'm a little disappointed in that. Around here, we don't pave streets for 25 years, and then we go bad in 5, it's kind of that situation. What I'd like to see also is a report. We get one from the guys with the municipal, Sancho's reports and all this, what they're doing, what they're not doing. I'd like to see a report from the judge, because I've heard rumor that, there were 65 dismissals on citations within the last few months. And I would like to see part of that, to see if we're actually holding people accountable. It's kind of a waste for our police officers to do the citations, and then, nothing happens with them, or they move up to magistrate court. We have a new police chief now, so I don't know what his plan is, but the prior chief moved everything to municipal, and we don't get any of that money. The reason we have a judge here is to be able to get some of that revenue back into the community. That's to help with fire EMS, that money. And then, I'd like to see the budget for fiscal year 25-26. I think Terrence should be getting that. So that's all I got. Thank you.
Just a point of clarification, back in December, I did make that correction on the resolution, that one that you called 7B, it should have been 8B. And I did bring it up in the meeting as a correction before it was approved, so if it didn't get changed.
Yeah. I thought maybe I was reading wrong, but no, obviously, I was, I read it 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess that resolves that. Might be a correction on that. All right, thank you. That's all I got.
Councilman Montemil.
I have 2, 3 things, so. As far as the new zoning ordinance, I think we need to come up with a solid timeline that we're gonna implement it. And if we're gonna implement it by the end of this calendar year, then we work backwards with all our meetings, but I think we need a solid timeline, when we're gonna implement that. So we can work on that. And I don't know if everybody's amenable, it's not an action item, but saying that, is it by December 31st, 2026, we need the new zoning ordinance in place. And I don't know if that's too ambitious, but I think we need to just get it done and go from there. And then a question for staff, relating back to the South Kiowa Bridge. Are we still getting bridge reports from New Mexico DOT? And just curious of what that classification was. You don't have to give me that. Then went back on something Councilor Ortega said. Was any portion, and I don't remember this, maybe you can, Karen, or maybe the mayor does, was it all done to design, or was any portion of it done as an overlay on the rest of the road? Because I remember us talking about the design, because we were worried about that exact issue about the culverts getting full. And I think there was some Parciantes that had come and we said, and we'd asked NV5 or the engineering department to make sure that that wasn't going to happen. And so I guess my question is, was any of the road overlay, or were we building to spec and the contractor missed something along the way? Man, I don't know, if you can't answer, you can't answer right now. Yeah, because I remember that being a big deal years ago, that we didn't want that to happen. And that's all I have.
Councilors.
Our new zoning board, we have how many members? 3 or 4?
3 right now.
3, all right, and it's, Bobby Ortega, Bertie Ryan, and.
No, it's Evelyn Coggins, Dominic Verderheim, and Deborah Martinez.
Oh, it's not,
He declined.
Oh,
Bobby
yeah.
Ortega declined.
okay. And has this board met with each other or no?
No, in fact, I'm trying to get 2 more members, Councilor, but Ms. Shannon just sent out earlier a planning and zoning board training opportunity for that we can possibly get them into through New Mexico Municipal League. So I think that would be pretty good to get them, if they're available, to get into that training.
And QEDF, we haven't heard from them at all. I know both you and Councilor Jaramillo sit on the QEDF board, but Miss Lynn Scott used to give us presentations as what's going on. And I mean, if you're not sharing it, and I don't go to meetings.
Ms. Scott did ask to be put on an agenda. I told her I'd get her on to probably the March 10th agenda.
Okay.
Maybe the 24th, but more than likely.
And if I can ask Mr. Chief Bobek, do you know the rates of the rest of the entities in what we're getting 6% next year or this year? And you know the rest of the rates? No?
I can look into it a little bit and see if I can get numbers.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
That'd be great. I had a little spat with some cows on Facebook, but it wasn't that bad. And can we get the water coming out of the water treatment plant there in the mine? Can we get the, how could I say, the report? Yeah. Is that available public?
It should be on the School environment website. I'll look into it.
Send
We're
that to me if
still-
you can get it.
So
If
we,
I don't find it, send it.
yeah, let me look into it a little bit. We were supposed to have our quarterly meeting with EPA and MED in October, and they're gonna do the public. Then the government shut down, so I've been asking since they reopened for this meeting, and I just don't know where EPA is or if they're looking at this stuff, but maybe we can see if we can get at least NMED to come to the table with us. And then we did bring that up with our attorney last Wednesday as well with Chevron, that we need to get that scheduled. Ms. Ramos was on the call as well, so she's aware that we are trying to get a meeting with, a quarterly meeting at least. But yeah, we'll look into that a little bit. I know they do the testing on it, but
Exactly.
It's
That's kind of what I want.
we need the access to it. I know, like Councilor Ortega, you brought up the ROD and the amendments. Actually, that stuff's all available online on the EPA website, Superfund site.
So 2500 Old Highway 3 is actually the depository of all those records. They should be in this building.
Well, I asked
According to the judge.
our attorney, Marcos Rael, about that, and he says we're no longer the repository. The repository's at the State Environment Department.
They haven't changed it yet.
So it might be one of those amendments. I don't know. That's just what he told me. I knew that was a concern of yours, so I asked him about it already. But we can follow up with him.
Yeah, he'll be here at the next meeting, right?
We'll ask him to be here at the next meeting. He would have been here tonight, but his grandmother passed away, so. Counselors, do you have anything else?
I'm done. Thank you.
No, no.
I have one more thing. So I would like to do a tour of this water plant, treatment plant. And I think I talked to Ms. Carey about it. She said, I don't see why we couldn't go out, a group of people to go actually look at it and see what it produces and how it works. And
You contact Chevron and they'll be more than glad to arrange a tour. I've been on a couple of them, but I'm glad they're going on.
I'll request it from Gabe. And there was a point there that I could have probably, between 2022 and the end of 2024, I could have probably given you the tour. I was on so many of them at one point.
wow. One.
But it's pretty interesting, and not just in all reality, I've only toured the actual wastewater treatment plant once, but I've toured the mine property several times, which I think that's in line. We haven't done it in a while, so I'll get with Mr. Adela.
That actually might help with the whole granite issue to take
Yeah.
the tour on the hill.
Yeah, you can take a tour of the water treatment plant and then up on that.
And even the tailings dam, I think.
Tailings, yeah.
And actually see, because, I did read that they're gonna finish up one of the areas up there, but yet all their vehicles left, and all their equipment, so what, are they finishing up with rakes and shovels or what?
No, they finished coupling.
They did finish it?
Yeah, they finished it. They had like a checklist before they demobbed all of the equipment. So by the time
So
they
they're
moved
done.
the equipment, yeah, by the time they moved the equipment, the coupling was taken care
I really don't have much. We have a couple of companies that have looked at or are gonna be looking at the business park for the building wise, so we'll see how that turns out. Bring more employees to Questa. Jake and Miss Shannon gave a tour last week, and we have another one tomorrow, so they'll be doing another one tomorrow. We did talk to Mr. Carvas. He's interested in leasing some of the land at the business park. We just need to come up with a rate where we're not in violation of anti-donation clause for them to lease that property. That's really all I have. We'll adjourn at 8:10. I'm going off my phone clock and the computer clock. That one will log off.
of. Is it?
It's really fast.
25.